Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for our roundup of what's new in Amazon Connect for March 25. There's some interesting updates to run through, so let's take a look. First, the big one this month announced at Enterprise Connect, that is the next generation of Amazon Connect. Sounds pretty grand, doesn't it? It refers to a new way of packaging together all of the first-party AI services for Connect into one bundle with an all-inclusive consumption-based price for everything. So this includes all of the AI features which you may or may not have switched on. If you had switched them on, you would have had to have paid extra for them on top of your Connect consumption. Things like contact lens, and you get included with it the screen recording and the performance evaluations. Agent scheduling, forecasting, capacity planning and scheduling is thrown in, as is queuing Connect. So yeah, all of those first-party AI tools. We've run the numbers for a couple of our clients based on last month's consumption. This does look like a really good deal for customers who want to use most or all of the features. So it seems to make sense if you're already using contact lens, FCS, and evaluations across your contact center. One of our customers, for example, as they're already using most of those other additional features, you're almost looking at it as you're getting queuing Connect thrown in for free, which is really nice. It also seems like it's a very easy switch from the Amazon Connect console, so it's a single button to check to move to that new pricing model. Once you've done that, you are tied in for 30 days. But after that 30 days, you can go back to the previous billing model if you wanted. So it seems to be really flexible, good opportunity for some cost savings. There's a breakdown of the pricing structure here. This is just taken straight from the Amazon Connect pricing page, based on a contact center using voice only with 100,000 minutes inbound, 50,000 minutes outbound, 50 agents, just some really sort of high level figures plucked out of thin air. The new model was coming out at just under $7,000 a month. The old pricing model, adding in all of the equivalent services that you get bundled in, that got to over $10,000 a month. So yeah, definitely some savings to be had. And it might be a really nice way to accelerate adoption of things like queuing Connect, which sometimes was a tougher one to justify in a business case at $40 per agent per month. We've got some updates around Amazon Connect Analytics Data Lake. We've got some new fields in some of the tables. For instance, in the contact records table, we've got some fields around device info for agent and for customer, possibly trying to get a bit more sort of troubleshooting type information into the contact records data. Also some new tables related to Lexbots, presumably tied in with bringing that Lex configuration into the Connect console that we talked about in a previous What's New deck, which was a fairly recent update. We've got a new API for list analytics data lake datasets. You can use it to list the data lake datasets available to associate with a particular Connect instance, apparently. Also, a number of APIs have been updated with client token to help you prevent unintended sort of duplicate operations when you're using those APIs. Then for our next one, we have a nice addition to FCS, which is agent shift bidding or shift exchange. You can allow agents to exchange shifts with each other. So directly from their agent calendar, agents can initiate shift trades with one another, making it more self-service for your staff to manage their time, also potentially saving time and effort for supervisors or for scheduling teams. The managers can approve those shift exchange requests manually from their published schedule calendar, or you can automate it. Approvals can be automatic if the request meets certain criteria that you specify. Before getting into this, you need to create something called a shift trade group. That is a list of agents in the same forecast group who can trade shifts with each other. And we've in the slide there we put a link to a short YouTube video. It's one in AWS's Amazon Connect enablement series, just explaining how the shift exchange feature is configured. So check that one out. Our next update is around performance evaluations. Really like this one. Conditional questions are now available on evaluation form. The example given, so if you have a question, something like, did the customer try to make a purchase on a call? If the scorer answers that question as a yes, you can have it automatically open up a related follow-up question around sales process. Something like, did the agent read the sales disclaimer to the customer? So yeah, really like this one. It's something that our customers have asked for in the past. The next one is around proficiency-based routing. Apparently, you could only update routing criteria up to 3 times previously while a contact was queuing. Now you can do that unlimited times. So if you want to broaden the scope of targeted agents more and more over time as the caller is in the queue. One caveat that we're made aware of, for any related metrics, only the latest 3 updates to the routing criteria are saved to the contact record, so just be aware of that if you're using the feature. Then we have another one around performance evaluations. You can have your agents acknowledge performance evaluations which have been carried out for their contacts. And so it's adding a bit of a feedback loop within Amazon Connect for evaluations, whereas previously the agents could go in and take a look at the feedback that they've been given. They couldn't respond directly within Connect. You'd have to have some sort of external process for getting their feedback. So I wonder if this might end up developing into a full feedback and appeals process eventually. And thinking about what you might do with that agent feedback as a manager, maybe it would be nice if you could add a rule to kick off an event based on the agent feedback. So have that sort of back and forth between the agent and the manager or within the Connect portal. The eagle-eyed amongst you might have noticed that a new icon appeared in the left-hand navigation bar in Amazon Connect. We've now got a new section for configuring Amazon Q functionality, bringing more generative AI functionality directly into Connect, which previously you might have had to configure in Bedrock or maybe via another AWS service. Now you can create AI agents directly in Connect. You can equip them with your prompts and then secure them, make them brand appropriate with AI guardrails, and then deploy them directly within a contact flow or within the Connect console. In last month's What's New, I mentioned workshops. Big fan of the AWS provided workshops. There's loads of useful material available in them. There was already an Amazon Q and Connect workshop, and it's been updated to reflect what we mentioned in the previous slide. So worth a revisit to that, even if you've been through that workshop. Finally, for this month, I wanted to mention a new GitHub project. It's from a solutions architect at AWS, Aurélien Plonk. Thanks to this, Aurélien. It's a nice looking solution for voicemail using the new interaction recording feature, that's where you can enable recording for the call during the IVR. It might be a slightly more simple solution than the Voicemail Express one that some of you might be familiar with, as it's using the native recording of the IVR leg of the call. You've got no need to set up Kinesis video streams as in the Voicemail Express version. So you've got a few less moving parts to deal with, making it a bit simpler. It seems to function in a similar way to that Voicemail Express solution in that it captures your customer's voicemail audio, packages it nicely into a task, which then gets routed to an agent and can be dealt with like any other contact. And that's it for March 25. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.